Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to learn how to read a secret language. It's a language that tells the story of mountains, rivers, and even whole towns, all on just a single sheet of paper. We're talking about topographical maps, and we're about to show you exactly how they work.
Okay, take a look at this. At first glance, it might just seem like a confusing jumble of lines and colors, right? But it is so much more than that. This is a story about a very specific place on Earth, and it's telling you everything: where the hills are, where the rivers run, where people live. The only question is, how do you read it?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it? What is all this stuff trying to tell us? Well, we're going to break it all down, piece by piece, starting with the absolute basics.
So, first things first, we need to know what we're actually looking at. What makes a map topographical?
Here's the deal. A topographical map is large scale, which just means it zooms way in on a small area to show you a ton of detail. And the key, the really cool part, is that it shows you two worlds at once: the natural world of rivers and mountains, and the human world of roads and towns built right on top of it.
So what's the easiest way to start reading one of these things? You start by cracking the color code. Colors give you that big picture understanding of a place in a single glance.
Now this is super important. These colors are not random. They're not just there to look pretty. They are part of a universal language that map makers all over the world use. So it doesn't matter if the map is of Nepal or Nebraska, green is almost always going to mean forest, and blue is going to mean water. It's a global standard. Okay, let's see this code in action on our map. If you are planning a hike and saw this huge patch of green, you'd know immediately you're heading into a forest. Simple as that. Now look right next to that green forest. See this yellow area? That's not wildland. That means it's been cultivated by people. We're looking at farms, a working landscape.
And of course, winding its way through everything is the color blue, which tells us there's water, and that water is probably essential for both that forest and those farms. See? With just 3 colors, we already have a pretty good feel for what this place is like.
Okay, so colors give us the broad strokes. But what about the nitty-gritty details? Well, for that, we have to learn the language of symbols. You can think of these as the map's alphabet.
Let me show you how it works. In the map's key, or legend, you'll see this symbol, 2 solid parallel lines. That means paved road. Now, if we look back at our main map, boom, there it is, showing us exactly where a main road cuts through the landscape.
Or check this one out. Here's the symbol for a bridge. So, where do you think we'll find it on the map? You got it, right where that road we just saw needs to get across a river. It all fits together logically.
Symbols can also show us really subtle but very important differences. For instance, you might see the letters RF in a green area. That stands for reserved forest, where you're not allowed to cut trees at all. But if you see PF, that means protected forest, which has some protections but might allow for things like grazing. A tiny 2-letter difference on paper represents a huge difference in the real world.
Okay, so now we have our tools. We've got colors for the big picture and symbols for the fine print. So let's do it. Let's combine them and actually read a piece of this map's story. Let's look at this one section. Right here, I can see a cluster of red. That's a settlement, a town. It's connected by these red lines, which we now know are roads. I can see those roads crossing a blue river, probably with a little bridge symbol. And the whole community is sitting inside this big green area of forest. In just a few seconds, we're not just looking at lines anymore, we are reading the story of this place.
But wait a second. We're still missing one crucial piece of the story. We know it's there, the forests, the roads, the towns, but we don't know the shape of the land. Is it flat? Is it a mountain? Is that town in a deep valley? Right now, we have no idea. And that's where all these squiggly brown lines come in. These are called contour lines, and they are the absolutely ingenious way that map makers show the 3D shape of the Earth on a flat 2D map. Every single point along any one of these lines is at the exact same height above sea level. And here's the secret to reading them. It's actually really simple. The closer the lines are to each other, the steeper the slope is. So when you see lines packed tightly together like this, you're looking at a really steep hill. If the lines are far apart, the ground is pretty flat. It's that simple. So, we've learned the language of colors, symbols, and contours. But why does having this standard system matter so much in the first place? Well, this is our toolkit. Colors give us the big picture, symbols give us the specific hard facts, and contour lines reveal the 3D shape of the world.
With these 3 tools, pretty much any topographic map in the world opens up to you. You know, our source material really puts it perfectly. This isn't just about cramming information onto a page, it's an intelligent system designed on purpose to make maps that are not only useful, but also beautiful and, most importantly, easy to read for anyone who knows the language.
And that kind of brings us to a final thought. Just try to imagine for a second if all maps were only in black and white. Without the language of color and symbols that we've just explored, think about it. What incredible stories about the shape and life of our world would we just completely lose?